Good morning. I felt the call to come to nature, to just be and feel the sun and be out walking and grounding, feel the light. I can only look at it when I'm singing and expressing love sounds. Then I can look directly at it in those moments. As I guess I raise my frequency enough to do so. I wouldn't recommend doing that normally, and I certainly wouldn't do it right now unless I started singing. But this was a new experience for me that came through, I think, when we were doing meditation Monday, to actually feel like the sun, the energy was transmuting directly as I was singing the sound. Let me see if I can't just bring it on, so I'll just have to try. Ekunia kaya, ekunia kaya, karaya sata, karaya sata. No, not quite, but what I can see is lots of symbols that look like writing as I shut my eyes, and the different colours, a bit like the dots that you see when you look at the sun or the flash, only rather than just dots, they are Pacific writings. So and colour, Pacific colours, pulsing, quite beautiful. Anyway, before I go through, let me just show you, see if I can flip this around. Oh no, I can't, can I? Where's this one? Yeah, see, look through the lens. Ayataya nuite atui, ayataya atuiti atui, karaya sata, karaya sata, ekuti anayatu, esanatia, enochurayatayu. Ekaraya sata, akanuku, esunakia, karaya sata, satanuya, 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 satanuya. Shift reality, shift perspective, light. Yeah. Be the light, as I spoke of in my workshop, being the candle in the jack-o'-lanterns. Be your own light and go to the depths of your shadow this month. Go to the depths of the shadows of humanity and stay the light. You are the light, so you need not fear the dark. The fear of the dark is a very biological feeling of, in the dark, the eyes coming at us and things could kill us. Go to the void, go to the space within you, go reset, so that we can then birth, just like seeds planted in the earth, that pressure, that subtle of the dark soil and the earth, the rich dark soil around it will grow. You will have immense growth if you're able to open yourself up to what is your shadow, what is your darkness, where do you need to shift. See yourself through the eyes of the light that you are, that source, whatever you choose, through wisdom and love, and align your will to see truth. There are many truths of the same thing, so look at it from different perspectives, look at it from different aspects. Open past your cultural and your religious, scientific, pseudoscience, whatever all these things, these different beliefs and culture structures. Go beyond those structures and see past, see through, without the judgment that all of those things will put onto them, and the ethics of that. Just analyze outside of that. That will allow for revelations and seeing beyond the surface level. Go deep. And I shared, it's been over 2 years since we've had we followed the path of I Am with Matthias. So the 2nd of November, the blog on yosoi.red is depth for today, and it talks about the start of Scorpio in the mental that we were doing in that calendar, and I think it has definite benefits to understanding that, so I would definitely add that. And for those that are fearing the dark, remember you are light. We're both. We're physical, so we are what is the matter is darkness. Is physical. It's lower frequency. So you're already there. You're already living that. We have been living that for billions of years and evolving from that. But you are also light. So if you embrace your inner light, you also have to embrace that inner darkness without the fear of what your traumas are, what your not willing to admit to yourself. Remember, the light is with you. A very religious term would be, but the kingdom of heaven is within you. God is within you. Light particles make up the cells of your body. However you look through science, you look through religion, look through whatever you would not look through normally, come at it from that angle. And without the bias. I know that's very hard to do. So if you're a religious person, you've always believed, for example, that paganism is bad. You might have been brought up thinking that paganism is bad. I've had conversations with someone and we laughed because obviously we're seeing the light in each other. And I was saying, well, no, actually for pagans, I was explaining that the reason they dress up in these scary things is to make fun of the darkness, to go beyond the fears, because this is the time when they talk about the veil being thin, meaning you manifest quickly. So your fears are going to manifest quickly and show up for you. So you want the opposite of that. You want your dreams to be manifesting for you and showing up for you. And therefore, you don't want to be in a state of fear with scary stuff. So you don't want that. So if you're like needs to be, and then look at that from like, oh God, we deliberately scare people. No, you should be poking fun at that stuff and seeing how silly it is, and aligning with love and joy and laughter. That's the true, or in my culture, my ethics, of how we enlight in the darkest of times. So in ancient cultures, the sun wasn't as strong. This would be the point of the sun before it becomes into the darkness. It's the beginning, again, the seed in the earth, the pressure. So you be the light. You need to be the guiding light. You're the candle guiding the loved ones home, which is what all the lanterns are about, or into the path, or to heaven, or however you believe, or to the next cycle, as I believe, or back the energy. Science says transition. Energy doesn't dissipate, it transitions. It's why I don't call death death. to me, my mum didn't die, she transitioned one energy into another. My aunt, who's just passed, has transitioned past. We're passing one cycle to the next, and that's the reminder of this time of year for pagans. It's about the cycles of time, the cycles of nature, and watching and observing, which actually is very scientific. Science observes and watches. But we know now from science that by very definition of watching and observing actually has an effect on the outcome, the particle or the wave, if you are familiar with physics, changes depending on someone being present. Whether it becomes a particle or whether it becomes a wave is dependent on the person watching the experiment. So by resonance, by frequency, we shift things. But again, I'm going off on a tangent like I have a tendency to do. What I just wanted to come on and say is this Halloween for me, this Samhain, was very much about wanting to feel the light as I feel. Not normally we would have, like, there's the sense we would at night time we would do our fires and inviting stuff, but I felt very, very called, and I still do, to be out in the daytime, feeling that sun, feeling that plasmic light, that the light that's being flooding our planet as we go through this part of this, as our Earth goes through this part of the solar system that it hasn't been through for a while. There's a different quality of light and plasma that's flooding the Earth. So that's the science bit. How you interpret that. For me, light has information, just like water. We are light and water. We're made of light and water, and that light in itself is changing the information in the water within us. You can think of it in terms of radiation shifting and evolving the planet, and the planet it's shifting and evolving itself. Subtle forms of radiation, just like the radiation that developed the pigment in my skin and your skin from the sun, that evolved, that wasn't always there. So we can embrace this, we can have or use this information however we deem, but I'm saying go deep, delve deep. I've been going down rabbit holes of stuff that I would have thought was off the charts, loony, crazy, could not possibly be true, but my heart wanted truth, so I asked for guidance. I asked my inner self, my whatever you call that, higher self, God, source, angels, guides, spirit, inner wisdom, subconscious, and information comes before me for me to assess, to discern. There will be lots of information showing up for you to discern. I'm saying, because there's something called, what do they call it? Something, dissidence. When something seems so extremely off the charts that you totally just dismiss it without even reviewing it. You just think, okay, well, no one else is going to believe in that. I'm not going to believe in that. That's just out of the charts crazy. Okay, why would that be true? No, I've always believed this, so I'm going to stay with that because it feels comfortable. I don't want that to be a truth, so I'm going to steer away from it. What I'm saying is actually that sometimes not knowing is good, ignorance is bliss, as they say. I wanted to know the truth. I wanted truth, and Scorpio's about revealing the truths, revealing truths that we may not want to know. So this is a time that you can utilize the energy as, and again, Scorpio, astrology, even that might be a thing. I don't listen to that, I don't watch that. Look into it, look into the psychology of it, the evolutionary aspect of how you can utilize it. And I think of it like weather. There's potential for, and it's an atmospheric pressure of cultural beliefs around a subject for whatever reason that they've been brought up. So that's an archetypal energy that's there for you to access and utilize for your own processes to evolve. How you choose to use them is down to you. Whether you just take it as face, oh, that's going to happen, that means this, blah, 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 therefore this will happen, and fine. I choose to differently, to believe, because this is a positive and a negative of everything, to take that information like the weather report saying that it's likely to rain, there's a certain % chance of rain. So therefore I think, okay, well today if I go out, I'll just have my brolly with me, I'll wear our rain mat. And if it rains, then I'm prepared. So, where am I leading with this? As I was trying to keep this to like 15-20 minutes. Don't be fearful of fear. Fear itself is the same. It's an energy, and it's a disease in some ways, because it can encapsulate, as we've seen, the globe was encapsulated by fear. I think that was the biggest disease that happened over the last few years. From my own personal experience of having the opposite of that, and my experience from having the opposite of that was very different for the people that I saw that had that. So you can read into that what you need, but my guidance told me there was no need for fear of any sort for myself or my family, and that was my truth. Now, self-fulfilling prophecy, but if self-fulfilling prophecy and placebo are actually scientific phenomenon, then utilize that, is what I say. Why not utilize that, rather than, as I think that culturally media utilized it in the opposite, to maybe not even intentionally as a nefarious thing, but that was the outcome. From my perspective, and my perspective is just my perspective, may not be yours, and I'm not trying to change you others. I'm just giving you example from my living, which is what we tend to do. We look at things from our experiences, but this month try and look at things outside of your experiences. So for me, it was looking at things, like I said, the rabbit hole, from other perspectives that I had maybe been slightly dissonant about and not wanting to look into, because I'd had strong beliefs. Now, some people would say, oh, well, if I do that, that would mean I'm having a crisis of faith if I question my religion, or if I'm having a crisis of or doubt in myself or in others that I have believed in for a long time. I'm not saying that that's something to do. I'm saying that it's important to have all sides of the story, and actually, if we only have one perspective, we've only got one side of the story. You need to delve deep. So whatever is going to come at us, and I have no idea, I just know that the next couple of months are going to be quite triggering for all of us in some way, shape or form, in order to be attention to growth. My guidance says that once we're through this, they will be the seeding of a growth that will benefit all of humanity and all of us in some way, shape or form, just like this Scorpio energy, as the ancestors would have used as a rebirthing and hope and light reminder that you are that light. If it feels dark, remember, and there's like things that have said, like in the darkest of times things shine the brightest, you can see clearer. So allow the darkness to guide you in that way. And by darkness, I do not mean evil, horrible things and doing evil, horrible things. I mean having self-awareness and wisdom of your own thoughts and shadows, your tendencies, where you're triggered, where your emotions are dark, where you may want to what's the word, look and look again. Where's your fire? Where's that anger? Why are you angry? Question, rather than just being righteously angry about something. What made you angry? Why are you being triggered? Is it because there's something in the situation reflecting a truth that you don't want to admit to yourself? Now, it's all those hard questions, and that's why it's the shadow. That's what I mean by the dark, because it's what we don't want to see. We want to cover up the things we dig down and push down and don't want to talk about. But you cannot be in balance of your darkness and your light if you haven't faced your darkness and realised that there is nothing to fear. It just is away. That's what some people in ancient paths and processes called initiations. They went beyond their fears with human capacity to do things. In our time, it is different. Our initiations aren't, as in a vision I was once shown, laying in some thing as if dead with snakes everywhere, so that I became one with them and passed the fears, or she who was showing me in the vision, beyond fear. For us, it's the fears of the modern world, the fear of finances, the fear or lack, the fear of diseases, modern diseases, cultural diseases. They're all initiations to go beyond and integrate that. When you let go of your fear, it's as if by magic you walk straight into fire. And I'm not saying it's with guns and physical fears in war zones, but everything, you dodge every bullet. And that's the flow. When you're following your own path within an initiative way, or a dark night of the soul, you might heard spiritual people talk about lots of crap coming to the surface. But when the crap's there, when you see it, and as I've mentioned before, it's like the windows. Sometimes we look at the windows every day and you never notice the crap on it. Once you give them a good clean, it's gleaming and you can see much more clearly. So take a look at yourself through your dirty windows. Wash those windows of the awareness of yourself, and polish off the crystal that is you, the diamond that is you, to open yourself to the diamond essence that we all are, through, if you like, thinking of obsidian mirrors that the ancients would have used to look and reflect back. Mirrors are a way of looking into your soul, see yourself, what is reflecting back, and be true and honest. My love, my blessings are with you, because I, like you, have done the same and had to face my own truths and still constantly face my truths. As I've spoken and shared many times, for me it's the hoarding, the going through the process of clearing physically, the addiction to sugar. So I've cut out refined sugars, so having more healthier diet. And to some, what I eat might be considered super healthy. My dad takes me, he's like, you eat rabbit food, all of this stuff, because I'm vegan and I'm trying to be raw vegan, but and less sugar free, and cut out what I have been heard the 5 poison. So white rice, flour, sugar, potatoes and dairy. Well, dairy's gone from my diet, has been for many years. Sugar is the one I'm working on, and intermittently flour. So I'm doing my best to have that. And then in the other stuff, if you're having things in moderation. But for me, I can feel better for doing that. Whether I've achieved that is another story. So that, again, that's my truth, my honesty. I'm not saying, oh, I don't eat that anymore, I've given that up and I did it in a day. It's not that way. Everything is a process. It's a law of increments. Step by step, we face our truth. And as a humanity, we face the truths that things that may have worked before may no longer be working, and that's okay. We just update the process. Think of it in terms of we're updating the programming, the software of our society beliefs, because they need updating. It's an old computer operating system that's been running for a long time, and it's stuck in a loop. And some of those loops are ingrained with us culturally, spiritually, religiously. They need updating, that's all. And if you look at it in terms of that, you take away the fear of the change, the fear of it becoming a revolution. Instead, it's an evolution, a different law of increments. It doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to be like, rip that out. That doesn't work, then I'm going to fight because this is going to then do the next one, and then the next one fights, and that doesn't work. Instead, we go, okay, look, processing, updating slowly. Sancho, Kensho moments in Japanese. They speak of like big revolutions. Rather, you want the slow, soft realization of awakening. Listen, because what you'll find is when you connect. And our month's challenge, what is our month's challenge guidance? I've just realised I didn't share it yesterday. Reflect in stillness, because the still, quiet voice is there. You get rid of the noise, and I don't mean actually noise of the outside world, noise of the brain, noise of thoughts or feelings, beliefs, cultural, your emotions. Feel. You need to first go through those things in order to get to the stillness. So those things, when you sit to meditate, for example, like we did with our the challenge, which is on my YouTube challenge, the 30-day challenge, you sit with your emotions, you allow your emotions to come up. You need to go through those layers of yourself to reach. You need to polish off the windows, the crystal, to get to the light within you, the peace, the stillness, the quiet. Do that. With my love and my blessings. I'm Teresa Jande from True Heart Art Design Authentic, or Love Authentic Me, or Teresa Jande on Instagram. Just see that light for a little bit more. Remember, even what we see is just a perception in reverse through our eyes. It reflects it back like a little mirror in the eyes.